Thanks for joining us for CBN's On the Home Front, where we highlight what the men and women of America's military do to defend our country. I'm Mark Martin. The Trump administration has decided to increase border security efforts once again. Trump announced on Twitter that more troops are being sent to the U.S.-Mexico border. The president pointed to the new approaching caravans for his reason behind sending the additional 3,750 troops. Reports state the increase in troops will cost more than $600 million by the end of the fiscal year. The president tweeted, "Tremendous numbers of people are coming up through Mexico in the hopes of flooding our southern border. We have sent additional military. We will build a human wall if necessary. If we had a real wall, this would be a non-event." Trump is still waiting on Congress to approve $5.7 billion for a southern border wall, which would eliminate the need for active duty military at the border. Meanwhile, the National Guard continues to work to provide support to U.S. Customs and Border Protection along the border. Here's the final episode in a 5-part series to show you what day-to-day life looks like for those on the front lines along the southwest border.
My dad, he would come over here to the United States and work, and he got us a green card, my mother, my sister, myself, and then we moved. I was 7. Before that, I come over a few times to visit my family, and I just enjoyed talking in English. I remember I used to tell my cousins, I was to start speaking nonsense. It's like, what am I saying? What am I saying? He's like, you're saying nothing. You're not saying anything. You're not making any sense. He's like, once I raised my right hand, I gave up that citizenship. I'm an American citizen, so, and I follow Commander-in-Chief. He wants us to do this, so that's the ultimate thing. I joined the Guard because I felt like I had to give back to my country. This country gave me a big opportunity to grow my career and my whole life. So I feel like it's my duty to join the Guard. I am part of the task force OGS, Operation Guard Support. I have 2 hats. I have an administration role here with the task force, and then I also fly. I'm very thankful for the opportunity because I get to start getting more hours, more experience, so that way I'm not behind the power curve. I like to feel the lightness of the skids, and once I'm hovering, my mind is just snaps into it, I think. But every time I do fly, it's like I'm meant to be there. Being up in the skies, it's awesome. Once you're flying, you're looking left, right, up, you're looking down, beneath you, and you're surrounded by airspace. You can go anywhere. This is quite a mission because it's, once, giving me a lot of experience. It's pushing me out of the door. I'm already second in command for the sector, and I have so many hats, so many roles to play, and I feel like whenever you step out of high school, go to college, that's how I feel like stepping out of flight school and coming into a mission, an actual mission, and doing something real, something that's not training. I feel like it's going to be a big step forward in my career and in my life. Really thankful for this opportunity.
In a move challenging President Trump, New Mexico's governor has ordered a withdrawal of the majority of the state's National Guard troops from the border. Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham said only around a dozen guardsmen will remain in the southwest corner of the state to assist with humanitarian needs. Grisham said, quote, "New Mexico will not take part in the president's charade of border fear-mongering by misusing our diligent National Guard troops." The governor also directed 25 troops from other states to withdraw from the New Mexico border. During his State of the Union address on February 5th, President Trump also talked about international affairs, from pulling troops out of Syria to talks with the Taliban in Afghanistan.
Our brave troops have now been fighting in the Middle East for almost 19 years. In Afghanistan and Iraq, nearly 7,000 American heroes have given their lives. More than 52,000 Americans have been badly wounded. We have spent more than $7 trillion in fighting wars in the Middle East. As a candidate for president, I loudly pledged a new approach. Great nations do not fight endless wars. When I took office, ISIS controlled more than 20,000 square miles in Iraq and Syria just 2 years ago. Today, we have liberated virtually all of the territory from the grip of these bloodthirsty monsters. Now, as we work with our allies to destroy the remnants of ISIS, it is time to give our brave warriors in Syria a warm welcome home. I have also accelerated our negotiations to reach, if possible, a political settlement in Afghanistan. The opposing side is also very happy to be negotiating. Our troops have fought with unmatched valor, and thanks to their bravery, we are now able to pursue a possible political solution to this long and bloody conflict.
In the meantime, Trump said the U.S. would reduce its troop presence in Afghanistan and focus on counterterrorism. President Trump also said in his State of the Union address that he plans to rebuild the U.S. military by increasing the Pentagon's budget and by reassessing military alliances and agreements with foreign nations. The Trump administration has approved 2 defense-friendly budget bills that raise the Pentagon's budget from $700 billion in 2018 to $717 billion in 2019. Acting Secretary of Defense Patrick Shanahan said of Trump's speech, in his State of the Union address tonight, President Trump reaffirmed his unwavering commitment to support our troops and to protect American national security interests at home and abroad. Under President Trump's leadership, we are focused on the full implementation of the National Defense Strategy, increasing lethality, strengthening alliances and partnerships, and reforming the way we do business. Service members from more than a dozen nations have gathered together for the annual Cutlass Express exercise. The training is designed to improve regional cooperation, maritime domain awareness, and information sharing practices to increase capabilities between the U.S. and other countries.
There's 15 nations participating in Cutlass Express 2019. This is the 8th year that we've done Cutlass Express here in East Africa with our East African partners. Our main role here is to assist our East African partners. The key thing is to work on developing our skills, our interoperability across all nations to ensure a common operating picture of the maritime. Probably the key thing is that we're looking at here is fisheries.
Fisheries resources are like any other natural resource. They're finite in their nature, but they're unique in the fact that if you manage them properly, they're a sustainable resource. So they will be around for long periods of time. They will not run out if they're properly managed. This is my 3rd iteration of Cutlass Express through the planning exercises and through the execution. And my mission engaging in these exercises is to incorporate fisheries as a component of maritime safety and security. From the first year, where fisheries were mentioned as, yes, it should be a mission, but not incorporated. Last year, there was a talk about it, little planning in the exercises, and the boardings reflected it. This year, it's one of the primary focuses of the final training exercise, is to get a fisheries boarding completed and all the way up through prosecution. So progress has been steady and increasing.
Coming up, how CBN is stepping in to help a military family in need. Welcome back. CBN honors the men and women in our military with an initiative called Helping the Home Front. It partners with churches across the country to meet the needs of their military families, from repairing homes to providing financial support to wiping out medical bills for wounded veterans. When you're a CBN partner, you help people all around the world, and people right here at home like Patrick, who's an infantry soldier. He and his wife, Christina, are also newlyweds, and living on a sergeant's salary isn't easy. That's why CBN's Helping the Home Front gave this couple a much-needed hand up.
Newlyweds Patrick and Christina didn't have much time to settle into married life. Patrick is an infantry soldier and was scheduled to leave for 6 months, just 3 weeks after the wedding.
I'm very proud of him. It takes a brave person to do what he does, and it's scary that he's willing to sacrifice for the country that he loves.
Both of them say what really sees them through is prayer.
When I'm deployed, I pray all the time. I pray that she's safe. I pray that he keeps me safe as well. And I've found that he has been there several times.
God plays a big part in my life and in our relationship and keeping me strong. He keeps me calm and he keeps me going.
They also pray for their finances. With Patrick on a sergeant's salary and Christina still in school working only part-time, they knew they wouldn't have much. It didn't help that Patrick's truck needed repairs and they didn't have money to fix it. The newlyweds couldn't even afford to buy furniture for their first apartment together.
If I can't get the household set up before I leave, I don't want her sitting on the floor. I want her to be set up. I want her to not have any issues to worry about except school and her job when I'm gone.
The couple had attended premarital counseling with ministry leaders Donnie and Michelle Bowen. The Bowens knew about their financial stress and contacted CBN's Helping the Homefront. We started planning. Donnie and Michelle invited the newlyweds to their home and started by telling them CBN would fix Patrick's truck.
That's great.
Yeah, it kind of helps, huh?
Yeah, it's come basically fix everything.
And there was more.
Helping the Homefront is also wanting to take you to Ashley Furniture and bless you all with some furniture. So as a newlywed couple going into a deployment, you can maybe put that money into savings.
You got yourself a home.
Yeah.
God. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
After arranging to fix the truck, they went to Ashley Home Furniture to pick out what they needed. Ashley's was happy to give CBN a big discount. The newlyweds settled into their new home before Patrick left.
I'm very much grateful to CBN for doing this for the families that have to go through things like this. It's a wonderful blessing, and I hope that they continue to do it.
Up next, how one soldier let his hopes and dreams guide him and what he's doing now to make them all come true. Thanks for staying with us. The military recently launched an initiative called This Is Your Military to help bridge the gap between civilian and military life. Using the hashtag #KnowYourMil on social media, the DoD wants to give you a first-hand look at the people wearing the uniform. There are many misconceptions about military life floating around, and this new campaign aims to clear some of them up. With dreams of one day reuniting his whole family in the United States, Air Force Airman First Class Akwasi Agyeman-Prempeh gained strength from his fellow airmen to do his best each day. Here's his story.
I am Airman Agyeman-Prempeh, and I'm from Ghana, West Africa, and this is my story. Dropping out of college, first when I got here, I would say an eye-opening, and it was one of my darkest moments because we come to United States basically to seek better education. So if you make any good thing out of United States, you can help some people back home in Ghana. So that moment when I dropped out of college, I sat down, I'm like, what am I gonna do now? But then I just picked myself up and I'm like, you always have to start from somewhere, so. And then I met my wife, so we got married, and then we had 2 beautiful babies. Before I got to the United States, I'd already had a child in Ghana. So I talked to him, I FaceTime him, I can see him. But one thing that breaks my heart is that siblings over here, my 2 kids over here, and they talk to him and they see him and they keep on asking, Daddy, when is my brother going to come here, and then I keep on telling them I'm in the process of getting him over here. You have to become a citizen, and then you have to petition for your son. And that's one thing I joined the United States Air Force. It's always supportive. You have people that oversees you, and they always want you to do the right thing. And even though when you're going through stuff, there's always somebody to support you and to give you guidelines. What I've been taught and what I've been doing so far, that's the same way I try to instill in my kids, to let them know, hey, there's always a better way to live your life, so long as you're ready to learn. Because I never thought I was going to join the Air Force ever in my life. And that's all ever I dreamt about, coming to the United States, to be able to go to school with a career and take care of my family.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this. The Aircraft Maintenance Squadron at Niagara Falls Air Reserve Station in New York deals with some of the nation's coldest weather every day. Maintainers power through and work to prepare an aircraft that can reliably perform the mission and bring home troops safely.
If any one of us misses something, it can be drastic consequences. Entire lives of all 30 of us on this trip alone are depending on us doing our jobs. For this trip here, guys were out there at 4 in the morning getting these planes ready to go so that way we could leave Niagara. Seeing all that come together is when the airplane gets to take off. And then it's even more fun when you get to go with it.
All right, have a safe flight. All right, thanks.
So this is where you become a crew chief. You don't become a crew chief back home. You become on the road when you get to go to different places, and that's when you're really doing your work. And that's where you're going to really learn how to do it. Coming to maintenance, you're going to go all over the place. You're going to see all the United States. You're going to be going to places you've never even dreamed of going. And then even now with this new mission that we have versus the Herc, you're going to see all different corners of the world. I've been doing it for 10 years now, and I absolutely love it. That's why I come here. And it's just putting a good plane in the air.
Marine Tactical Electronic Warfare Squadron 2 is the last squadron of its kind to be deactivated after 44 years of faithful service. They will have their deactivation ceremony next month at Marine Corps Air Station Cherry Point in North Carolina.
VMAQ-2 started out in 1975. It was a composite squadron of multiple different type model series aircraft, so it wasn't always prowlers, it was F4s, and eventually it was the EA-6A, the electric intruder, and then from that, the EA-6B. The EA-6B Prowler is a electronic attack platform, so it allows us to attack the enemy in the electromagnetic spectrum, so whether it's radars, anything wireless, it gives us the capability to have effects in the electromagnetic spectrum on the battlefield.
When the Iraqis went into Kuwait, we found ourselves, Q2, waiting for an order, and ended up going into Sheikh Isa, Bahrain, and were there for approximately 8 months. We were flying missions continuously up along the Kuwaiti and Iraqi border. Over the 42-day conflict, we flew over 1,500 hours. They did an amazing job of keeping those aircraft flying and keeping the weapon systems working.
When we deployed to Incirlik, supporting operations in Herod Resolve, the Marines performed well, performed above my expectations. Seeing the Marines, how hard they work day in and day out. I've been telling the Marines since I've been here, this is hands down probably one of the best units that I've ever been in my 21 years that I've been in the Marine Corps. Everything started here with VMA Q2, and eventually all roads are going to lead back to VMA Q2 with the final deactivation of the first VMA Q squadron. The squadron has ties back all the way to 1952. So there's been a lot of folks that have worked on this platform. So it's going to be a very emotional thing. And it's also a time to reflect on the time that they had here.
VMAQ community can do easy no matter what the tasking is. So, and that's across the board from all the way down from that PFC all the way up to that commanding officer.
They are definitely going to be a part of Marine Corps history.
It's a week full of love, and U.S. Army soldiers stationed in Romania want to take this time to wish their loved ones back in the United States a happy Valentine's Day.
Alabama, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, Texas, Florida, California, Georgia, Arkansas.
From MK Romania to all these great states, we wish you a happy Valentine's Day.
That's great, and that's all for today. In the meantime, you can find more of our exclusive coverage at cbnnews.com. Hope you'll join us next time. Have a great day.